Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Jobbing with the JIMS. My name is Jim Meyer, broker associate at Remax Gold. Now, you have found a friend in the real estate business, and I've got my good buddy Jim Felipe, one of the nicest, most honest attorneys in. Yeah, he's honest and he's an attorney. I don't know. It might be a genetic defect, but
Yeah.
it's true. Jim, I think. Oh, I didn't even introduce Vanessa. Vanessa Safel, thank you so much for coming by. Vanessa, did you want to ask Jim Felipe a question today?
I do want to ask him a question. As I'm starting like my production business and I want it to grow, I'm starting to pay attention to the parts that like I just don't understand, like the paperwork. Everybody does their paperwork different, everyone does their payroll different. And to me, sometimes it feels like it's illegal because sometimes I'm in a situation where I agree to something and then I don't get paid till 30 days later. No one talked about this. And I want to know, at what point do I need to start getting a lawyer involved as I'm dealing with all these little tit for tat discrepancies?
Yeah, that's kind of the good and the bad thing about living in a free society. We don't have to stay within a box, right? And so, we're able to make things work the way we want them to work within certain parameters, of course. But we don't walk into the business superstore and say, "I'll take the video production box." And so you get to design it the way that works for you, and you get to accept and not accept what you feel is good for you and your business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're starting to deal with contractual disputes, the best rule of thumb is get it in writing so that there's no, misunderstanding of what the expectations are. But going beyond that, the reality of it is you can get it in writing, but if it's not written properly or in a way that explains exactly what your agreements are, it can still open up some problems for you. So that's where, kind of the DIY contracts will get you in trouble because, they torture us in law school. And through that torture, you learn how to pick apart the written word. And so because of that torture we've gone through, we have a better chance of drafting a document that is going to be clear and concise, that's going to represent exactly what you had expected it to represent, and avoids those issues that you would have created for yourself if you did it on your own. And so I would say as soon as you start getting into contractual situations where you start to feel like they're not going the way you want them to go, that's probably the time to loop in an attorney to help you draft your contract for your corporation or your business that represents exactly your expectations for the services that you're going to provide. And that's going to be different for everybody. I'm not saying, you have to open up your doors and the first thing you do is hire an attorney. It's not necessarily the case. That may be the case for your business, but it's not always the case. But certainly once you get to that point, like you just mentioned, that you're having some of these issues, and usually it's just a matter of they're running their business one way, you're running it a different, and sometimes that's going to clash. And in a lot of situations too, you got to ask yourself, is this clash worth me creating a divide or dispute between this client, or am I willing to accept it? And that's where that give and take is going to come, right? Everybody gets to make those decisions on, am I going to take this or am I not? And those are all, business decisions that a lawyer couldn't answer for you. You have to make that decision. But having the lawyer by your side, guiding you and giving you the legal steps on that is more valuable than I think you can appreciate at this time. But once you have that lawyer by your side, I hear it all the time. I'm so glad I called you. I just had somebody tell me, I wish I'd have called you sooner.
Right.
So that's always those, dichotomy of issues there, right? So, assess it, but it's not cheap, right? It's a business expense. And sometimes it's better to spend the money to get it done. My mom used to always say, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. I'm not exactly sure the meaning behind that one. Hopefully, it's good, but I understand it. It's you don't want to spend money with caution to the wind, but, sometimes it's worth spending the money so that you protect more than you're spending.
What does a consultation cost?
Yeah, so all of our initial consultations are free. They're relatively short. We're not going to be giving out any major legal advice in those consultations, but it's more or less for us to figure out, what the problems you're seeking to have solved, see if we have the solution for you, and if we're a good match to work together to come to that solution. Because it's a mutual relationship that is established with an attorney-client. It's different than most relationships you're going to have with any other service provider. So free is the answer.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, now you've got an attorney that you can call. Vanessa, we'll come back for another talk tomorrow, please.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see you again tomorrow for another exciting episode of Java with the JIMS. Thank you very much.